Top of the hour, let's begin with the updates. For the truth that comes behind Murshidabad riots seems to be out, and it is explosive. A High Court appointed panel which has now released a damning report that singes the West Bengal government. A Trinamool MLA, no less, and a local councillor have now been directly named in the findings. The panel that has junked the outsider theory floated by the Chief Minister, calling it baseless. In a shocking revelation, the riots that are now being termed as an organised act allegedly aimed at blocking the Waqf bill. We've seen the kind of riots and violence that had been witnessed, especially when it comes to Murshidabad and other areas as well. But this is a big development, rather a blow that has now come across as far as for when it comes to the TMC government in the state of West Bengal. Now, as far as the communities that have been targeted, why no police action was taken? Why was the police absent and turned into a mute spectator? All of this, what is being said, is part of this report that has now been taken up. This is a High Court appointed panel that has now released this report that singes when it comes to Mamata Banerjee government as well. She's been meeting all of the religious heads. However, when it comes to an aim and attempt that she said that this is, as far as the Murshidabad violence is concerned, the responsibility that the centre should take of a leadership that she is exactly governing the rule of West Bengal. Mohit, what is the truth behind the Murshidabad riots in this report that has now been taken up? Who exactly is responsible?
Well, Amita, the report that has been submitted to the Calcutta High Court has made some shocking revelations. Now, according to the sources that we have accessed the details of the report, now it clearly says, and it nails the role of local councillor Mahbub Alam. Now, Mahbub Alam's role was also being earlier questioned by the BJP and the locals over there, that how he came with the miscreants and indulged in vandalism. Now, this particular report shows that how, and says that how Mahbub Alam on 11th of April came with the miscreants and vandalism took place in that particular area. And also what we know is that the report also says the next day the local MLA came, who is from the TMC, but still the violence continued. Nothing happened. Police was absent. The houses were looted. The shops were looted. They were burned down. There was massive arson and violence. So clearly, when the TMC was saying that they are taking steps to control the violence, when the role of their MLA, their councillor was questioned, they said that they don't have to do anything about it. But clearly now we see that how this particular report, which is being submitted by the committee that was being formed by the Calcutta High Court, clearly says that Mahbub Alam, the local councillor, came there and this particular area in Murshidabad on 11th, and he came with the miscreants. That is specifically mentioned in the report. And after that, the vandalism occurred, and next day the MLA came, but the violence did not stop. The police was mute. So the role of the also questioned by BJP, and now we see that it has been nailed in the report that has been submitted. Back to you.
Right, and as far as this report is now concerned, exactly, do we hear anything coming in from the West Bengal government? Because their Chief Minister had outrightly denied as far as when it comes to what is being said as complete mishandling by the state government, because she was blaming outsiders, she was blaming anti-social elements, and we have seen Murshidabad burning for several days before the situation actually came under control. Organised riots, Mohit, it is being called.
Amitabh, whenever anything happens in West Bengal, the collapse of law and order or the violence breaks out, we see that the TMC leaders and Mamata Banerjee come out and say that it has been done by the BJP, RSS or the outsiders. But when it comes to this particular incident in Murshidabad, where for days after the protest happened against Waqf amendment, there was massive violence. Mamata Banerjee again stated that there were outsiders who indulged in violence. Police was taking the concrete step. But this report nail all those claims by the TMC. This report particularly says that Mahbub Alam, the local TMC councillor, on 11th of April came with the miscreants.
Just interrupting you, राहुल सिन्हा जी हमारे साथ फोन लाइन पे जुड़ गए हैं. राहुल सिन्हा जी, जब मुर्शिदाबाद जल रहा था तो ये रिपोर्ट कहती है पुलिस कोई काम नहीं कर रही थी, लोगों को भड़काया जा रहा था और एक तरीके से ऑर्गेनाइज किया गया था ताकि सिचुएशन आउट ऑफ कंट्रोल जाए. और यहां पे बताया जा रहा है तथाकथित तौर पे कि टीएमसी के लोगों का इसके पीछे हाथ है.
देखिए, कोई हाथ नहीं है, सीधा टीएमसी ने इसको कराया और ये पूरा प्री प्लान था और इसका प्लानिंग नवान्न में बैठ के किया गया. इसीलिए पुलिस से लेकर सारे लोग वहीं पर भाग गया, पूरा छूट दे दिया। तृणमूल काउंसिलर महमूद आलम से लेकर उनका एमएलए सारे इसमें शामिल है। सारे लोग प्लानिंग करके इसको कराया और ये कोई ऐसे लग गया कोई दंगा नहीं है, ये पूरा साजिश है। और इसीलिए मैं समझता हूँ जो सरकार ऐसा दंगा करने का नक्शा बनाते हैं और दंगा को बढ़वा देते हैं, ऐसा सरकार को गद्दी में रहने का कोई अधिकार नहीं है।
राहुल सिन्हा जी, रिजू दत्ता जी भी जुड़ गए टीएमसी की तरफ से हमारे साथ, उनसे भी मैं एक सवाल ले लेती हूँ। रिजू दत्ता, नाउ दिस इज अ fact finding committee that has been set up by the Calcutta High Court that submitted its report on the violence that happened in Murshidabad. It is highlighting the inactivity, the absence of police during the incidents, and also citing a TMC leader, Mehboob Alam, as far as his role in directing these attacks is concerned. What do you have to say?
Look, I'm not going to make any comment on what the fact-finding team has found or not found, but let me tell just two things very specifically. That is, during the recently concluded Indo-Pak war, which India won, multiple times during the press conference, the Indian Armed Forces and the Defense Secretary has said that...
Stay on this current report, sir. We'll be, of course, talking about Operation Sindoor and how successful it has been, no doubt in that. But what do you have to say on this report? Do you believe that it is damning? The BJP, we were just listening to Mr. Rahul Sinha, he's blaming directly as far as the TMC government and its leadership is concerned.
Can you give me 30 seconds of my time, please? Thank you very much. So during Operation Sindoor, multiple times in the press briefing by the Defense Secretary and our armed forces, it has been made clear that it was the purpose of these Pak-backed terrorists to create a civil war in this country by doing Hindu-Muslim. And BJP is towing that same line. They cannot come out of this Hindu-Muslim narrative. And the bottom line, coming to the Murshidabad, the part of your question is that yesterday during her North Bengal tour, the Honorable Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has clearly said, we do not want violence. We are against riots. We want only one thing, that is peace, peace and brotherhood. So I am telling you, whatever the fact-finding team has found, I don't know. I'm not going to comment. It is.
But Mr. Riju Datta, what about the recovery, the compensation and the rehabilitation of those who have been affected because of the riots?
Who has rehabilitated them? The Bengal government has done that. Our MP Shamirul Islam has made sure that all the people who have left their homes have come back home. They have rehabilitated. There is police posting there.
Have they, sir? Because there were several of the reports that came in from the families, especially the women who say that they were threatened. They were said that they cannot come back to their places and they still don't know. Because that kind of picture, Shehzad is also connected with us right now. Mr. Datta requested to be connected with us. Shehzad, Riju Datta has, however, saying as far as this report is concerned, the rehabilitation work is being done by the state government and by Mamata Banerjee. However, this report says otherwise.
No, Riju Datta would want a Nobel Peace Prize for Mamata Banerjee the way she's handled Murshidabad. I mean, this is a situation where there was a state-sponsored, orchestrated, organized, not organic, not spontaneous, but a sponsored Hindu-targeted violence that was done. And now from the fact-finding panel of the HC, it's very clear that the TMC was involved in it. Its leaders were involved in it. The police was told not to act or to act in favor of those who were rioting. And therefore, we saw a spate of TMC leaders actually justifying the riots and rioters. You remember what Mr. Siddiqullah Chaudhary said? You remember what one of their MPs said, that Aankhein nikal denge? You remember what Firad Hakim said? He made fun of those people who were leaving their homes. So clearly the TMC is involved in these riots, has backed the rioters. And the question today is that Riju Datta's, generous gyan on India-Pakistan can be taken at another time. But perhaps he should tell us why he can't run a state properly. Maybe he should focus on running the state rather than thinking about other things. And therefore the question is, when will they act upon all those elements who in the name of Waqf targeted Hindus?
Well, Mr. Riju Datta, would you respond on that? Will you still blame outsiders? What about the role of Mehboob Alam? What about those homes that have been destroyed, that have not become habitable because there have been complete destruction that has taken place? The women who are afraid to come back, several of those families were forced to flee.
This narrative of women being affected can't come back home. We have seen this narrative during the Sandesh Khali also, and I was hearing my good friend Shehzad giving me gyan on how to run a state. Obviously, he and his leaders have done a PhD on rioting starting from 2002 Godhra, so they know about rioting much more than any other party in this country. Anyways, coming to the point, we are running our state. Women are being rehabilitated. They are safe and sound. And the people who are doing Hindu-Muslim narrative are towing the Pakistan terrorist line. That is what we need to concentrate on. They have still not learned their lesson, and they're still towing this Hindu-Muslim narrative. This will not float in Bengal.
But who's fueling that? Who's fueling that? Shehzad, if you want to respond on that. Because time and again, when a specific question is asked about Murshidabad, Mr. Riju Datta would want to deflect and speak on Operation Sindhu.
I have never deflected. It is just that I am not towing the Times now or the BJP line. That is why it sounds like deflection.
Amita, may I have my time to respond? Thank you.
10 seconds, Shehzad. Yes.
We remember how when the riots were taking place, Mamata Banerjee was busy meeting the clerics and inciting them, and it took 25 days for her to reach the Das family. So we all know who's doing Hindu-Muslim. Actually, Mamata Banerjee, TMC means Tushtikarana Mujhe Chahiye, and for her it's only Ma Mati Manus is no longer the call. It's Muslim appeasement.
Well, Mr. Riju Datta, this is not something that I or Times Now has been saying. This is actually a report, a fact-finding report that has been submitted to the High Court, sir. So you have any questions, you can raise it to that. Thank you very much, Mr. Riju Datta and Shehzad, for joining us here on the broadcast.